Welcome to another ZPPT talk. Today with a very special guest. It's the Italian pro cyclist Elena Cecchini that I have the pleasure to meet in a training camp from Ken and Shram. Elena is a triple Italian road race champion and team time trial world champion in 2018, also with Ken and Shram in Innsbruck. If everyone remembers this colorful team, amazing race. It was, if you didn't watch it, you should go to YouTube and watch it because it's one of the best races ever. So Elena is also an individual time trial Italian champion in 2018, 2019, and last year in 2019 she was silver medal at the Road European Championships. So this is the special guest for today. We are going to talk about what is being pro cyclist. I will always also challenge her about how she manages her mind, if she negotiates with her brain, and when and how and if. So this is what we are going to have the pleasure to listen to. So I'm very grateful, and here is Elena. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, it's different time now. Never experienced something like this before, but yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be for sure something that somehow leave a sign on us, like I think for sure some people will forget really quickly, but for us as athletes, especially because we are used to be outside every day and training outside is what we do all the year alone. So yeah, it's start to become a bit hard now, but for sure, Italy was really affected by this problem. So not my region, luckily, but yeah, we could really see on TV some hard
I saw it.
news and images. So I think overall it's fine. I mean, we are healthy and we are doing well. My whole family is doing well, so it's okay.
Okay, good.
And what about you? Are you in Portugal now?
I'm in Portugal now. Yeah, I just came right on time from Berlin. I just arrived like 2 days before they closed everything.
Yeah.
So it was really on time. But yeah, here.
Is it bad also in Portugal, or is it getting better?
Portugal, no. I think we learned something with some countries. So we closed everything, put everyone at home. So the numbers are very good. I think they are now a bit scared how to put people out and how are going to react when they start opening things.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is going to be the economy, because this is going to die completely.
Yeah, in Italy we have, I mean, I really understood how much the TV can, like shape the things that they are saying, because in the first 3 weeks we had only infos about the people dying, how many people was contagious, how many people was getting sick, and then suddenly we don't know now how is going on with the COVID, and they are only talking about the business and money and UA and all these kind of things. So you are like, even before you knew that shutting down the country for 2 months, you have, I mean, we have some small places, small restaurants or hairdresser and all this kind of business that is not going to open anymore, because they were already on the limit. And now, I mean, Italy was not a rich country even before, so for sure, it's getting even worse.
Yeah, Portugal even worse than you, so we are even more poor than you. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, you're right. I think the TVs and all the media were completely crazy. And are you there? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? You can hear me. Good. Okay. Yeah, I think you came back. You right? Are you there? I think a bit stopped. Yeah, now it's good. I think it's good now.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the, the first talk I had here, it was with my mental coach, and it was about how is the head of the athletes, because what about the goals? Because you train because you have goals, right?
Yeah.
So how it's going to be, when it's going to be, how you are going to train. So this is must be difficult.
Yeah.
I can imagine how you
Yeah.
keep motivated for your trainings, even for your food and the way you eat and everything, because we know that this is a more difficult time, and this is what's now somehow difficult for even for my athletes, to make them, hey, be careful, because you can't eat everything and you can't be always eating, because it's a normal
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's a big topic for sure, and we can stay hours here talking about this. But yeah, luckily, I mean, we have now. In the beginning, I was really happy when they say straight away that the Olympics were not going to
Mm-hmm.
happen, because I think it's fair to say that we would not have had the same preparation like other countries. I mean, us, France, Portugal, Spain, we for sure we wouldn't have had the same trainings that other countries are still allowing their athletes to train
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
full mode. And having the Olympics 3 months away, I mean, it really matters what you do now. If your goal is in 3 months, not if your goal is in 1 year, but in 3 months, it's too close to give someone the permissions to still go out and
Yeah.
some others not. So I really think that was a good decision. And after that, let's say that my mind was a little bit more relaxed, even if I kept on training very seriously, and I kept on training every single day. So I'm not like resting at the moment, because I had like a long winter. I decided this year to have a bigger gap during the winter to rest totally. So I couldn't have another rest right now at the moment, because I was really in a very good shape when all did happen. And so with my coach, I plan to keep the fitness for sure, lowering a little bit the curve, like flattening a little bit the curve, because you can't stay at the top. And now we got to know in these days that our calendar might start, it's not certain yet, but it might start in August. So we still have 3 months. That means that, I mean, you're right, even with like the food and everything, you really have to take care, because you can't put on too much weight. And even being at home all the day is harder, because the fridge is more closer than when you are out on the bike. And more than that, we are not doing 4 or 5 hours like we used to do. We are doing 2 hours on the trainer. So in 2 hours, for sure, you burn a lot of sugar calories, because on the trainer we do a lot of intensity. We don't do any like slow pacing like we do on the road. And you also, I mean, you sweat a lot. But from there to burning fat is different. Fat you just burn in the long rides. For us athletes, that we have this special metabolism. And so I don't want to, I am honest, like I think I gained 1 kilo or 1.5 kilos, but I don't want to stress myself too much, because I know that if everything goes well and from May I will be allowed to go out on the road, I think it's mentally very important to be fresh. even if you are in May, you have to think like, okay, it's like December for a cyclist. So I really need to start doing long hours. I want to go on altitude, and on altitude for me, it's easier to lose weight. So I'm not too stressed about this. I'm more like, I just want to keep my routine as an athlete now, because I can't have another full break.
Yeah.
So this is how I am handling at the moment, because I think that if you are sacrificing too much about everything, then when you restart your season, you are already mentally a bit down. And this is not the case, because I think that when we will start again, then it's going to be much harder than a normal season, because we are going to race full gas from August to November, more races altogether.
Yeah.
And so it's totally different. And I think it's also important to arrive quite, let's say, fresh at the races. And if you do too much now, or if you are too skinny now, then your risk to not arrive at the end of the season as you want, or too tired maybe.
You know, this is when I asked you, because this is a big question for me. It is how you, as an athlete, elite athlete, you manage your head with all those things. This is an example, and this is a good example what's happening now. I think obviously when I'm talking to you, you know what to do. You already structure your head, because I believe, and when we study a bit of this is what needs to happen. You need to be structured. You need to know where you are going. Um, if it's one way or the other, but you know which way you are going to. And this is the biggest difference that I'm start to understand when you, what makes you go beyond others. Okay. And this is my challenge. I'm from physiology, but as I wrote you, it gets to a point, and you do all the tests that we do, this VO2, this and this and that. But it gets to a point that sometimes our athletes go beyond those limits, physiologic limits that we are used and that we read in the books, and things continue. And this is the interesting part. How do you continue? And because pain, we all feel pain, right? We all feel the fatigue. Everyone feels that.
Yeah, but it's also, I think in my case, it's also knowing that the others are in pain that help me to keep on going, because sometimes you have to be, I mean, I see in the races, I race like 60 days in a year. I have races, and in 60 days of racing, I have maybe 40 days in which I am really focused, and I want to go for the win. But other 20, maybe, I don't know, I am an helper, so I'm a bit more relaxed. And when you feel the pain, you don't think, oh, the others are feeling the pain as well. It's really important to remember this, because I really believe that if you are a good athlete and you train well and you eat well and you do everything you need to be a good athlete, for sure, when you're feeling some pain, if you have a good day, because when you have a bad day, there is nothing you can do with the level that women cycling have at the moment, because the level is really high. So you need also to have a good day, for sure. But if you feel the pain, you have to believe in yourself, and believe that also the others are feeling pain. And to me, this is something that because it's not easy, you know, sometimes you look at the others and you say, oh, fuck, maybe I am the only one who is feeling the pain now, but it's not like this. And I think that also thinking, the others are in pain as well, it helps you to go through and to say, okay, let's see who resists more now. Because in the end, cycling is all about who resists more in the pain in one point. When you train it and you did everything in a race, is how much you want to suffer to get that thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You see, how you manage the pain. You have this idea. You focus and say, okay, the others are there. Let's see who can go beyond those the best way. This is one thing. Tell me one thing. What is a bad day for you?
Well, a bad day is when you feel that the legs are not going, and for sure, I mean, this is something that you can also overcome with your mind. But I must say that when I was younger, is something that I say, okay, today I have a bad day, so for sure I need to be smarter, to use more the head, and so on. But for example, with professional cycling now, as I told you, like the numbers the girls are putting out on the on the pedals. I mean, you have to have a good day, and normally in the race it's difficult also to not have a good day, because now we are really structured, as you said, you know, we plan everything with the training the day before, what you eat. So I mean, if your body is healthy, for sure the day of the race you are fresh enough, your legs are full of um, glycogen and energy, and you rest well and everything else. So it's also hard to have a super bad day in a race. So sometimes it's more mental. But for example, in a stage race, we see also with the men in Giro d'Italia, the best climbers sometimes can have a really bad day, and you just don't know, but the day your legs are not going. So you can save for sure, but you most of the times you can't win that day, but you can save for sure. But many times someone for a bad day lost a GC or the race of, you know, the dreams, or it can happen. I mean, we are human bodies, we are not machines. So can be that sometimes your body is not working as you want as well.
But as you said, you know how to prepare yourself to have the not so many bad days, right?
Yeah, I
You
mean, for
know,
sure is something that, yeah, for sure is something that, I mean, we train to limit the bad days. We
okay,
train to make these bad days less and less and less. And it can happen, in my opinion, more in a stage race than in a single race. Because in a stage race, it's so
fun.
easy to have a bad day if you don't recover well.
Okay, yeah, makes all the sense. So recovering and all the base um, techniques to recover is fundamental for you,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
do you have much information about that, or you just learned that it's something that you are, for you
I
in your
think
case, you've been learning all the years?
I think it's a lot about experience, for sure. I think it's a lot about knowing yourself. I think we are all different, and what might work for me might not work for you. So when we are in a
Of
team, for
course.
example, we have different habits about food. Because I am Italian. So for example, for me, the perfect food before the race and after the race as a recovery is pasta. This is just an example, but not for my teammates that they are maybe from England and they
Mhm.
prefer porridge, you know. But this is also mental. I know this because I'm sure that they are different kind of food. So, but they might work well for someone and not for some others. But it all depends. If you're sure that in your head that this food is good for you, then it's gonna work.
Okay. So the head commands everything.
Yeah, I think most of the things, yes, the head command.
You know, I'm now reading lots of things about sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading a book from a guy who worked with some football teams.
Yeah.
And then he worked also with the Sky team,
Okay.
and he developed it's a kind of a bed that they sleep in the same mattress every
Yeah.
day. So,
Yeah.
and he developed something that it's a portable thing, and they take with them and they use it. It's very very interesting. So yeah, now more and more sleep is becoming an issue
Yeah.
now in physiology.
Yeah. We know it's very, I mean, it's very important. And yeah, for example, in the training camp, we tried some SIS gels that they are doing to sleep better.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of brands now are working on it. And for sure, it's an investment also for the teams. But, you know, again, if you have like a 3-week stage races, especially for the men, it's so important to get the right amount of sleep every night.
So if
So
you don't sleep well, if you are not used to where you are
exactly.
sleeping, you are dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask you something? This is
Yeah.
something I've been studying for some time. If I asked you like this, would you think what you think about talent and effort? So for sure, in cycling, you also have talented cyclists. So it's not so. Yes, of course, it's very technical also, and you have guys doing crazy, crazy things with the bikes. Um, what's your opinion about being talented and the ones who work? I know that in cycling you need to work.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. I mean, the talent, I think it's, I mean, in cycling for sure, if you have a talented rider that do 50% or a hard worker that do 100%, maybe in the beginning, the talent is going to be the best still, but then the hard worker come out, and for sure, in the long term, the hard worker for sure have more results than the talent. But I also believe that the hard worker have to work a lot to have maybe 1 or 2 wins during the season, while a talent combined with hard work can win 20 races through the season. So if you have the combination of the two, you have a champion. So you have, I don't know, Peter Sagan, Evenepoel, or Matthew Van Der Poel, but if you have like a hard worker, yeah, for sure you can, I don't know, you can see Greg Van Avermaet, for example. I think he's a really hard working guy, and he's still on the top level of cycling, but he's not winning that much
yeah.
as the ones who work a lot and have also talent. But only talent nowadays is not enough.
Okay. Okay. I'll put this on. Yeah. So the main idea here was this. That's what I was asking you. It's and because now I'm doing here picking up some athletes that crossed my way and understand how they manage the head during um, stress, but competition. Look at it like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And try to transport this also to companies and to
yeah,
leaders in companies, because there are many things that we can learn, and I've been learning a lot how you manage these difficulties.
yeah.
And
Are you still working with Trigger Point?
I am. They are a bit. So they are not doing so much in Europe, but I'm always working on it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is my tool as someone who does something and trains a bit, and even as a professional. Yeah, have you been
yeah,
using yours?
yeah, a lot. I'm using a lot. I had so I didn't told you, but last October, in the end of October, I had a surgery on my left leg
Mm-hmm.
because of iliac endofibrosis.
Okay.
And yeah, I, after 6 years of suffering and yeah, talking about this mental thing, you know, I arrived at the point in which I was training 110%, but was never enough. I mean, I was always at the start line with like a question mark, or let's see how my leg feels today. So you're already starting a bit low in your head. So I decided to do this surgery, even if I must admit that I think there is a lot of people, especially in cycling or triathlon, that suffer this thing, but there is not so much knowledge at the moment around this, especially in Italy. So I was lucky enough to find an hospital in Verona, in Italy, in which a doctor had already some experience with other cyclists, but it's not so easy to have it done in Italy, but I wanted to have it done here because then you have 1 week at the hospital. So I wanted to have my family around and to be able to do my rehabilitation at home. And yeah, I mean, they analyzed the vein and they said it was an endofibrotic vein, but still before the surgery, the doctor told me, you know, from the images that we had with our machines, we can't really see anything. So it's a lot about the doctor trusting the athlete trusting the doctor. Is a bit of, you know, a gamble, but in most of the cases, I mean, you have some symptoms, and are for every cyclist is the same. So you can't recover in one leg, your leg is always weak, you have pain. So all these kind of things you put together and you discuss with the doctor, and then you decide if having the surgery or not. But it's, I mean, it's a cardiovascular surgery, so it's a bit serious thing. But yeah, I'm happy I did it. And now it's still not perfect because for 6 years, I trained and raced with different blood flows. So my muscles are really different in the two legs, but it's getting better and better. And yeah, just to link with Trigger Point, I'm using a lot all the things that we got in the training camp
You know,
because it's really important.
I bought this. It's like a hammer. It's like a pistol.
Oh
I
yeah?
didn't bring it. Did I bring it when I was there? No.
No.
No. So I got this. It's Hypervolt. It's called Hypervolt. It's amazing. I'm
Yeah?
traveling with it. It's amazing. I will send you the link so you can see it.
Okay.
It's I'm traveling with it. My athletes are traveling with it, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you something because it's my area, and I have some not so cyclists, only cyclists. It's more the Ironman crazy guys. By the way, I finished mine my Ironman last year.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah, it
Congrats.
was crazy. It's the bike with
Yeah,
the
I can
bike was
imagine.
crazy. It was I got some rain, heavy rain, and it was but it was nice. So I was asking, how important is for you the strength and conditioning training?
What the?
The strength training for
Mm?
the cycling.
Yeah, I think
How?
it's very important. I think it's very important, especially for me that I am a woman, because our races are shorter than the men,
Mhm.
and we have a lot of more intensity. And I can tell you, I didn't believe it was so important, but this winter, because of the surgery, I couldn't do that. So I couldn't have big weights because of my scar and everything and stitches and so on. And I really felt good on the bike, but not strong at all. So it's what I'm doing mainly now. Now I'm doing a little bit of bike, not too much. My teammates are doing much more hours than me, but I'm focusing a lot on the gym. And I mean, you don't really need to stay hours on the gym, but you need to have this neuromuscular activity on, and your fibers, muscular fibers need to be active. And this is something you can do with weights on, like squat, but even not too much weight, because then when you go out again for 1 month and cycling for 4 or 5 hours every day and do long trainings, then the strength is something you're going to lose, but you have to keep the fibers active. So this is something you can do with, like, I don't know, 20-30 kilo squat and like 3 times 8 squat. And then you go on the leg press and you do single leg press, and not really heavy, because then if you hurt your knee or if you hurt some joint, then you need a lot to recover, especially because for us cyclists it's also really hard to keep it all the year. We usually do like in the winter, and then for example in May or June when you have a little rest, and then you go on altitude, and then with long trainings you also combine some strength. But this is definitely something that is really important, as well as core stability, and yeah, the things that you already know. But I think that strength, it's really important. And being cycling an endurance sport, for sure you don't need to be a bodybuilder, but to lift some weight is, I think it's a key
Do you
for
think
us.
there's still an idea that I'm building too much muscle and I'm getting heavier and I get
I
slower?
think I think in the upper part, yes. I think in the upper part of the body we don't need. We don't need, because in the end it's all weight that you need to carry on. So I think in the upper part you just need to be efficient, you know, to have the arms to support you when you want to go out of the saddle in an attack. The core really need to be strong, but strong not to show your abdominals that for sure are fancy and nice to see, but strong just to support your legs, you know. So it's really different to have nice abs and to have a strong core. So also the back is really important, but also having a lot of muscles on the arms or even on the back, I think it can be tricky, especially if you are like a climber, or if you are a sprinter, okay, you have 2 kilos more, but you have a lot of power, and then it's okay. But if you are like a all-rounder or a climber, then for sure you need to get rid of the weight that you don't need, and definitely on the upper part of the body you don't need to have muscles.
So you don't take anything out of it if you have muscles in the upper body. You think
I
so?
don't know. No, in
I want to know your opinion.
cycling,
I'm just your opinion is
yeah,
important for that, because you know, cycling for me is one of the most technically, and the prescription and the methodology that they need, the aerobic part and the anaerobic part is it needs to be the best. Okay, and I compare it also with the strength training, and what I
yeah,
feel is that the strength training with the aerobic part is a bit unbalanced. So you know that you need to do something. So it's important, when should I do it? Should I do it in a preseason? And then when you have some intervals in the season, should I do it when I'm racing? And that's what I feel a bit in with the cyclists. It's there is a
yeah,
bit
yeah. That's why I told
scared,
you
you
that I
know.
don't. Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean, and this is something that I also discussed many times with my coach, and this is what I told you. Like this winter, I could really experience of myself, and I felt that I was not going to the gym. But as I told you, I think it's totally wrong for a cyclist to lift too much weight, because in the end, you do for 1 month, but you are cycling 12 months every year, and if you do 30 hours every week, the I don't know, 10 times 300 kilos on the leg press, it's nothing compared to the 5 hours you are doing the day after. You are going to lose straight away this gym session, but you need to keep your muscles, let's say, alive, you know, like ready to jump in an attack. Or so it's much more important to do some neuromuscular activation that you can do with lower yeah, how you say, like weight, lower weight. But the, I don't know how to say in Italian is gesto. Yeah, the way you do is important for your brain also.
Okay, okay. Yeah, this is something that we
Yeah,
work with all
like
the.
we are not, we are all different, you know. So
Of course, of course. No, for me it's interesting, and that's why I like to talk about this, because it's different realities, and as you said, you need to understand what is good for you, and more when you are an experienced cyclist. You also know what's good for you, and you also know what you need. And sometimes when we try to change something in an experienced athlete, sometimes it's not the best thing, you know.
for sure.
So last question for you, sorry I'm taking you so much time from you.
Don't worry.
Goals, how you manage your goals, you know, in two ways. The first thing is you were talking to me and you're telling, because you are not always the same team, right? That
Yeah.
races the different races. So you don't know if in the next race, in the other team, they are not cyclists that didn't race so much as you, so they can be not so tired as you because you did the race before also. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one challenge when you say, okay, I'm tired, I'm feeling pain, the others are also. But one thing is when the teams are all together and all of you race all races, so it can be like that. But my main question is, you put goals to yourself. What makes you get out of bed every day and being consistent in your training? I know you are a professional and this is your job, but even though I think you need the motivation to do it, right? And I also know that you like to do it. The thing is, you put goals in front of you in the season, and then short goals inside the season, and this is what makes you move, or it's something different?
So to answer about the first question is easy to answer because now, especially with the team I am in Canyon we have the theory and also the philosophy of not racing too much. They are against racing too often. So they prefer to give us like 1 or 2 races and then 1 week or 2 off. So this is something that don't happen and that I feel too tired or compared to the others and so on. About goals, for sure. I mean, as you said, we do this job, first of all, for passion. It's a work, but for me, maybe, you know, I'm also Italian, so I'm much more, I put a lot of feelings into it, a lot of emotions into it. So for me, is more like a passion than a job. And that's why for me it's normal now to wake up every morning and go for a training, and there is not even one day that I say, oh, I don't want to train. Or if it happens, I know that maybe I'm going to change my idea on the bike, so I'm going to adapt to this day in which maybe I'm tired mentally, but it doesn't happen really often that I say today I don't want to go on my bike. Then this is totally different in my off season. My off season for me is holy off season. So for 2 weeks, I don't want to see my bike because I need to do something else. And it's important also to give yourself some time off, I think. For the goals, I am very much goal oriented, but I'm not the one who, for example, start a season and say, okay, this year the words are good for me, and I am in January, and the words are in September. I need some mid-season goals because having such a long-term goal is not good for me. So that's why, for example, it sounds stupid, but when I start training again in November, I think, oh, I have to train because I want to be fit enough to be able to ride with my teammates in December training. And when we do a lot of climbing, a lot of hours on the bike, I don't want to suffer that much. I want to enjoy the ride with them. And then it totally changed in January when we start to do intensity and effort. And I start to think I want to be ready for the classics. And in the classics, for sure, if I race 10 classics, I have 2 that are my main goal. So when I train hard or I'm suffering, I'm always thinking I'm doing it because I want to be good in this and this race.
Okay, that's
And
where I want to go.
yeah.
You know, because
And
let me just interrupt you, because I was watching the other day the commentary Netflix about Movistar team. I don't know if you
yeah,
watch it already.
yeah, I
And
watch it.
for me, it's a bit strange when sometimes you go on a day, so you go for the race, and the goals are a bit okay. Let's see what's happening. For me, I thought it was much more. Of course, you can feel not so good, and you have a
Yeah,
plan B, but sometimes I didn't see so much organization, which believe that it would be
Yeah.
much more.
I think it's also about Spanish mentality, you know,
Okay.
like I can't see that happening, for example, in Team Ineos or in this kind of teams. So, but maybe this is also working for some of the riders, you know, like also in the
Okay.
team, we have, for example, I am more structured, but for example, Kasia, she's someone that if you put responsibilities on her, she's not going to perform. So, for example, Ronnie, the sport director, knows this, and so he's never going to say, hey, you can win Amstel. No, he's saying, yeah, you can do a good race, and then she's going to do a good race. But if it's like tomorrow you can win, she's going to put so much pressure on herself that she's not performing. So this is also something then some, you know, like things
Yeah,
that
it's
need to
different.
work within the team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but that's what I wanted to hear is this, like when you are suffering, and you said it, when you are suffering, you are thinking in the classic that you want to. So it's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
you visualize yourself there, and that you want to perform good on it. And
Yeah.
I think this is the main thing at the moment, and it's have your goals, it's have your why, and what you are doing that because of that, and it's important to define the whys for everyone, and that's what we try to manage with the athletes. And
Yeah.
okay, not taking much time from you.
Nice. Okay.
And yeah, I'm just so I'm putting this together. This is more a conversation, and
Yeah.
then I have this idea that I saw once, and I really enjoyed it. There is a very nice book from this guy called Tim Ferriss, and this guy he wrote 11 questions to 110 personalities that goes from sport people to, and it's very interesting to understand and to read the different answers from different persons. And
Wow. What's the name
because
of the book?
it's called Tribe of Mentors.
Okay.
I can send you the link from
Yeah,
Tim
thanks.
Ferriss. It's very,
Okay.
very nice, very, very nice. And I'm building here something which is about some questions also, which are interesting to understand how different people in different sports and with different intensities
React. Yeah.
and skills um, answer to it. So I might challenge you, sending you an email, and you answer me like 5 questions as
Okay.
you want.
Cool.
Okay.
I will.
Hey,
Okay.
if you need anything from me, I'm here.
Thank you so much.
From trigger point, from anything. Um, I really, yeah. This is what I like to do. I do
Yeah.
this. Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, just around the corner. You just need to click. I will send you
Cool.
some links about the machine and the book. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
And keep safe.
Yeah, you too. And thank you so much. It was
No,
nice
thank
to
you.
see you again. Hope
Thank
to
you.
see you soon.
Okay. Bye
Ciao.
bye. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
Bye. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.